Today we will talk about the gammopathies, immunoproliferative disorders. So, bali, we will not be talking or will not be discussing about the tumor immunology kasi we are not covering that sa ating laboratory. Mostly ang mga pathologist na yung gumagawa niyan. Okay, so we don't do it sa laboratories na natin. Okay, wait lang.
Ikaw ba? Hyperpigmentation, mana sa skin. Normal.
So our objective for today is to learn the different types of immune disorders, differentiate the types of gammopathies, and lastly recite the different organs affected by the autoimmunity. Okay, so let's start with the immunoproliferative disorders. Okay, so we have our what we call the gammopathies. Ano ba ang gammopathies? Meron tayong dalawang types of gammopathies. So gammo meaning immunoglobulin, pathis meaning disease or disease state. Okay, so we have two types of gammopathies. Meron tayong monoclonal and the polyclonal gammopathies. The monoclonal, meron tayong multiple myeloma, Waldenstrom's macrogamagglobulinemia, and the MGUS. And then next is we have our polyclonal gammopathies. So we will focus here sa ating monoclonal gammopathies. So what do you mean by monoclonal gammopathies? Mono, ibig sabihin isa. Galing siya sa single cell. Clonal, ibig sabihin nag-produce siya ng madaming cells galing doon sa isang cell. So, nanggaling siya sa isang cell and then nag-produce siya ng any abnormal cells. Okay? Gammopathies. So, what do you mean by this? So, start tayo kay multiple myeloma. All of these are B-cell dyscrasia or plasma cell dyscrasia. What do you mean by that? So, plasma cell dyscrasia, ibig sabihin merong something wrong sa ating plasma cell. Okay. What is a plasma cell? Plasma cell, di ba, sa pagka-remember natin, si plasma cell, ito yung mature type ng B-cell. Okay? It produces the what we call antibodies. Diba? So from the B-cell, naging plasma cell, and then si plasma cell, siya yung nag-produce ng ating antibodies. However, dito sa ating monoclonal gammopathies, affected yung ating plasma cell dito. And plasma cell dyscrasia yung tawag doon na disease state. Okay. Okay, so balik muna tayo. So, meron tayong tinatawag na multipotent stem cells, di ba? Multipotent stem cell, mag-further differentiate siya into two types of progenitor cells. Diba? So, meron tayong myeloid, then meron tayong lymphoid progenitor. Saan ba natin nahanap itong multipotent stem cell? Or sa bone marrow. Diba? As well as itong si myeloid and si lymphoid. Okay. So si myeloid, nagpo-produce siya or nag-differentiate siya into different types of blasts. Diba? Merong pro-erythroblast, myeloblast, monoblast, megakaryoblast. Okay, na-remember nyo sa hima ninyo, di ba? Sa ating hematopoiesis. So, from a multipotent stem cell, puproduce siya ng dalawang progenitor cell, which is ang ating myeloid and lymphoid. And then si myeloid mag-further differentiate into different blasts. So, pro-erythroblast, myeloblast, monoblast, and the megakaryoblast. On the other hand, si lymphoid naman, magpuproduce siya ng B cells, and the natural killer cells. Okay. So, separated itong dalawang ito. Separate sila. So, dito tayo magpo-focus kay B cell. Okay. So, sa myeloid. Kasi, immunology refers to more sa ating humoral activity ng ating immune system. Okay. All about the antibodies. So, we have 3 types of hematological malignancies. So, who can tell me those 3? Kung naaalala nyo siya sa ninyo sa hema. Ibig sabihin, hematological malignancies daw sa ating blood. Ibig sabihin, para siyang formation ng mga abnormal cells or abnormal growth ng ating blood cells. Okay. So, very good. We have our leukemia. We have our lymphoma. And we have our myeloma. Okay, so these are our 3 types of our hematological malignancies. So si leukemia, meron din siyang iba-ibang types. Merong ALL, AML, CLL, and CML. Okay. Si lymphoma, merong Hodgkin's and non-Hodgkin's. And si myeloma, meron tayong monoclonal and polyclonal gammopathies. Okay, so ito, multiple myeloma, Waldenstrom, macrogamma-globulinemia, and the MGUS. Okay. So, multiple myeloma. Let's start with the multiple myeloma. Si multiple myeloma is a plasma cell neoplasm. So, what do you mean by that? So, neoplasm, ibig sabihin may production ng new cells, new production ng new muscle from the B cell, from the younger B cell na puproduce siya ng other types of, ng younger plasma cell. Itong plasma cell na ito is abnormally produced, therefore magpuproduce din siya ng abnormal types of antibodies. Okay. So, what are those antibodies? Ito yun siya, IgG. So si IgG, this is the most common type of antibody produced in a multiple myeloma case. Okay, so si IgG natin, let's say for example, drawing muna ako. Okay, this is our antibody. This is our heavy chain. Meron din tayong light chain dito. This is our IgG. Ito yung light chain, itong blue. Itong light chain, ito mismo yung affected sa ating multiple myeloma. Okay. So we have 5 isotypes, di ba? Meron tayong 5 isotypes of antibody. So mnemonics natin dyan is yung MAGE. Ayan, MAGE. Si IgM, IgG, IgM, IgA, IgG, IgE, and IgD. So ito yung 5 na isotypes ng ating antibodies. Ating multiple myeloma, yung ating IgG yung common. IgG. And itong light chain na ito, meron din itong dalawang types. Yung ating kappa and yung ating lambda. Tama ba yung symbol niya? Ayan. So this is our kappa and lambda light chains. And then ang pinaka-common na light chain na affected sa ating multiple myeloma is ang ating kappa variant na light chain. Ito dito. Pwede din siyang IgG type of lambda variant na antibody, pero common si kappa. Okay. Okay. So, yung multiple myeloma natin has a known cause. Pero linked siya to radioactive exposure, genetics, and toxicity. So, toxicity, meron mga medicines or other toxic substance like asbestos. Genetic naman, syempre of course, possible. And yung radioactive exposure. So I have a question. Does chemotherapy help the patient on treating the multiple myeloma? Kasi si multiple myeloma is a type of cancer, di ba? Kasi mayroong abnormal growth ng plasma cell. Okay. Use the microphone. Make use of the microphone, guys, kung magsagot. Okay, any answers? Does chemotherapy help multiple myeloma patient? Okay, any answers? Okay, the answer is, of course, yes, it may help the multiple myeloma patients. However, does not show any benefits at all. So, parang wala talaga siyang significant decrease, no, in multiple myeloma production. Okay. Kasi nga, link multiple myeloma natin to the radioactive exposure. And chemotherapy is a radioactive treatment against cancer cells. So, it may, but it may not din. No, it may not treat the patient. So, ang ating multiple myeloma, present yung plasma cells natin in less than 1% dapat sa bone marrow pag normal. Pag normal siya. However, pag abnormal siya, pag mayroon tayong multiple myeloma, more than 10%. yung ating plasma cell sa bone marrow. Okay, so this is for the MM, multiple myeloma. So let's use the term MM no for multiple myeloma. So onset natin for multiple myeloma is 40 to 70 years old. So if you think you have a multiple myeloma, okay, just stop thinking about it kasi it's for 40 years old and above lang. Okay, so it's very unlikely no for people no in our age na magkaroon ng multiple myeloma. Siguro pwede pa ang leukemia. Okay. So people with multiple myeloma have 1 to 3 years of survival rate after the onset of symptoms. So malaki talaga yung chance na mamamatay sila. Kasi nga wala pa siyang parang intervention for this talaga unless siguro kung fighter yung body ng isang patient. Okay, so bone marrow biopsy is the most preferred type of test no in the detection of the multiple myeloma. Okay, so any questions about this? Wala. Okay, so let's proceed dito. Okay, wait lang. Okay, so since si multiple myeloma ay increased yung kanyang immunoglobulin, di ba? Ang tendency niyan is tataas yung ating protein constituent sa ating serum. So magkakaroon tayo ng tinatawag na M-spike. M-spike. So yan, ang M-spike is yan yung ating electrophoretic pattern. Okay, so I will show you that later. Okay. So bakit ba merong tawag dito? Bakit ba merong infections during multiple myeloma? So later na lang, explain ko na lang siya later. Okay, so let's go here. Multiple myeloma, meron tayo iba-ibang organs na affected no during multiple myeloma na disease. Okay. So number 1, sa skeletal tayo. Okay. So sa skeletal system, meron tayong bone pain due to the destruction of the bones. Okay. So how does this happen? See, bones kasi natin they are made of osteocytes, di ba? Okay. So si osteocytes, they are the cells of the bones. However, pag meron tayong multiple myeloma, meron tayong excessive production of the hormone called the PTH, parathyroid hormone. Okay? So this parathyroid hormone, wait lang. Nakaano na ba kayo? Ay, wala pa pala, no? CC3 next year. Next year pa ata. CC3 ninyo. So sa CC3, madidiscuss niyo yung PTH, yung parathyroid hormone. So si parathyroid hormone, they are responsible for the production of osteoblast and osteoclast. So kung increase si production of PTH, ang tendency niyan dadami si osteoclast. Ito yung bones na nagsa-stop ng production. Ito yung cells na nagsa-stop ng production ng ating osteoblast. Okay? So mag-stop yung production ng osteoblast natin, magiging mapurol yung ating bones, and then magkakaroon ng destruction of the bones. So mangyayari, magkakaroon ng pain. Kasi nga destroyed yung ating bones. Okay, so pag destroyed ang ating bones, ang mangyayari dyan, maglilik ang ating calcium. Calcium. Okay, so si calcium na yan, madidirect natin siya sa ating serum. Okay, so ang tendency, pag during destruction of the bones, magre-release din ng mga significant materials yung ating bones. That includes the ALP, alkaline phosphatase. So tataas din yung ating alkaline phosphatase ating bloodstream. Okay. So most common symptom ito ha. So pag tinanong kayo what is the most common symptom of the multiple myeloma, bone pain. Pain in the joints. However, hindi lahat ng pain in the bones no are caused by the multiple myeloma. Madami siyang pwedeng maging cause. Okay. So, aside from bone pain, meron din tayong hypercalcemia. Okay? Hypercalcemia, ibig sabihin increased calcium in the blood. Okay. So, next, meron din tayong hematologic na symptoms. Sa hematologic, meron tayong pallor and the anemia. Okay. So, bakit naging pallor? Kasi, meron tayong decreased production of the erythrocyte. Kasi, instead na less than 1% lang yung ating plasma cells sa ating bone marrow, nag-increase siya sa 10%. And then, ang tendency niyan is iti-took up niya yung space doon for ating erythrocytes production. So, kukunti yung production ng ating erythrocyte. Dadami yung production ng ating plasma cell. So, meron din tayong anemia. So, ang anemia niya is normochromic, normocytic. Kasi hindi naman talaga affected yung hemoglobin production ninyo. Yung affected lang is yung production ng cells mismo. Okay? So, normocytic, normochromic anemia. And a type of that is multiple myeloma. Okay? I bet na ano ninyo siya na klase ninyo siya sa hima. No? But very very dito. Very nakakalito yung hima, 'di ba? I may say. Okay. So sa hematologic, increased din yung ating bleeding time and the clotting time. Clotting time and the bleeding time. Narinig nyo ba na ba tong test na to, CTBT? Sa Himalab, wala. Okay. CTBT is a clotting time, bleeding time test. So very sad lang kasi hindi nyo siya na-try na matusok ng ganito. So, susugatan kayo dito.
Kaya magpa-print
Complete.
dito niya.
So, actually, meron pa akong scar nito during college days ko. No, kasi susugatan kayo using a blade. Kasi dapat i-test yung yung bleeding time mo. No? So, importante na doon kayo mag-slice gamit yung blade sa may area na walang visible na na ugat or walang visible na mga capillaries. So, dapat doon sa clear. So, best choice is dito sa arm natin. Okay. So, si CTBT, this tests the clotting time and the bleeding time of the patient. Okay. So, the clotting time tests the clotting factors Yung madaming clotting factors natin. And si BT, test the platelets. Okay. So, kung merong dengue ang patient, increased itong bleeding time natin. Diba? So, increased din ito siya sa multiple myeloma patient. Bakit? Okay. Who can answer and who can defend it? Bakit siya increased during multiple myeloma? Okay, so increased siya during multiple myeloma kasi, di ba, meron tayong excess production of IgG. Okay, so pag excess yung production ng ating IgG, ang tendency nun is ibablock niya yung ating platelets and ating mga clotting factors. So pag na-block na yung mga platelets and clotting factors natin, wala na siyang magiging function. Okay, so magiging useless na yung ating platelets and clotting factors. So mag-i-increase yung ating bleeding time and the clotting time. Okay, any questions about sa skeletal and hematologic natin? Okay, so it's not really for me to discuss the CTBT. However, I think need ninyo siya malaman what is CTBT kasi this week is the last week of your semester. Tama ba? Next week is examination na. So, sige. Si CTBT, this is the clotting time and the bleeding time. Deserve nyo ito. Kaya, clotting time and the bleeding time. Kasi clotting time, this test is used for the clotting factors. Ano ba yung mga clotting factors natin? Meron tayong clotting factor 1, 2, 5, 7, so on. Memorize nyo pa ba? Kasi sometimes memorize ko pa siya eh. So, kayo dapat need nyo siya i-memorize kasi kayo yung student and need nyo siya for your board examination. Okay. So, next is the bleeding time. Si bleeding time naman, this test is for the platelets. Okay, si platelet. Kasi nga, di ba, pag meron tayong bleeding, yung nag-act doon is yung platelet, di ba, para stop yung ating bleeding. Di ba? So, kung increased yung bleeding time natin, ibig sabihin, mababa yung platelets natin. Okay. So, however, this test is parang obsolete na siya sa ibang hospitals. However, tinetest na din siya sa iba. Kasi mayroon na tayong bagong test ngayon. And yun yung APTT and the PT. Meron pa naman kayong HEMA2, baka doon nyo pa topic itong CTBT. HEMA1 pa lang kayo, di ba? So, next sem, meron na kayong hemostasis. Hemostasis, yan yung tinatawag natin na coagulation. So, that is another part of the hematology. Kasi ang HEMA1 ninyo is more on hematopoiesis. Okay, so next. So meron tayong treatment para ma-normalize itong clotting time and bleeding time, and that is to do dialysis. Okay? So need natin i-dialyze yung patient. So what's the purpose of dialysis? to clear the excess antibodies sa ating blood. Okay. Kasi nga ano, sige, dito na tayo sa renal muna. Okay. So sa renal or kidney natin, affected siya because of the Benz-Jones protein. The Benz-Jones protein, this is just a protein of the pre-light chain ng ating anti-immunoglobulin, yung IgG. Di ba meron tayong heavy chain and the light chain? So si light chain, kappa or lambda, yun siya si Benz-Jones protein. Okay? So pag nag-ano si Benz-Jones protein, pag nag-accumulate siya sa ating kidney, ang mangyayari dyan, pwede siya magkaroon ng renal failure, acute or chronic. So si chronic renal failure, this is more severe than the acute renal failure. Bakit? Kasi si acute renal failure, pwede pa itong ma-reverse. Si chronic, slowly kasi ito ng slow progression ito. So mas mahirap ito siya i-reverse. So slow damage. Okay. So ayan, so how do we normalize the clotting and the bleeding time? Need natin i-dialysis yung ating patient, okay, to clear the IgG na immunoglobulin. So bakit kailangan natin i-dialysis? Kasi nga sira na yung ating kidney ng patient. So wala nang mag-clear for the patient. Bakit siya nasira? Because of the accumulation ng ating Benz-Jones protein. Okay, so bakit siya nag-accumulate? Kasi nga mayroong overproduction of immunoglobulins galing sa ating plasma cells. So, another factor na bakit nasisira yung ating kidney is due to the toxicity ng mga gamot na iniinom ng patient with multiple myeloma. Kasama na dyan ng mga NSAIDs or non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. Those drugs are very toxic sa ating kidneys. Okay. So sa neurologic naman, meron din tayong neurologic na symptoms, and those are the pain and paralysis. Alam natin na si bone marrow ay hindi lang natin siya nakikita sa ating long bones or flat bones. Meron din siya, present din siya sa ating spinal bone. Okay. So sa spinal bone, what if doon nangyari yung ating plasma cell dyscrasia? So magkakaroon siya ng myeloma doon. So pag sinabi nating OMA, di ba mass yan siya? Formation of mass, formation of tumor like na mass. So pag doon siya nag-form ng OMA or ng myeloma sa ating spinal bone, ang tendency niyan is ipipress niya yung spinal cord natin. So pag na-press natin yun siya, magkakos siya ng pain and the paralysis. Kasi nga, syempre obstructed na yung flow ng ating nervous system dyan sa ating spinal cord. Okay? Gets? Sa infection naman, most common cause of death. Okay, so who can defend this statement? Sino gusto sumagot? Okay, anyone? Bakit most common cause ang infection?
Most common cause ang infection sa mga cancer patient, sa mga immunocompromised patient.
infection. Kaya naghinaw ang immune system.
Bakit ito kinain yung system?
Hindi.
Bakit ano pa ang nangyari sa mga antibodies and antigen complex?
Kinain na ng cancer cell.
Okay. Bakit immunocompromised ang patient?
Tama ba? Papadugol mo, hindi sila
Okay, anyone? Dali lang to, huwag niyo huwag niyo i-complicate yung answers sa mind ninyo.
no, ayun ka. Magaling akong halo.
Ay, answer.
Okay, so lahat naman ng sagot no is possible. So our best answer doon is kahit increased yung production ng ating antibodies, they are abnormally produced kasi. And abnormal yung nagpo-produce ng ating antibodies. So non-functional pa rin siya. So kailangan kasi balance yung MAGE natin. So IgM, IgA, IgG, IgE, and the IgD. At balance sila lahat. Hindi susobra yung IgG natin. Okay, kasi pag susobra siya, mawawala na ng function yung other antibodies natin. Ang tendency niyan is magiging immunocompromised yung patient. Okay, so focus na lang doon sa production ng abnormal antibodies yung ating katawan.
Sige, marang pinayin niya.
Yan na kayo. Nagsabot na kayo.
Alas 12 lang. Puro din na.
Sobra na pwede sa
The next is the infection, yun na yung infection. So, most common siya na din. So, what are those infections na included sa ating multiple myeloma? Tama dyan ang ating Aureus, pneumonia, Klebsiella, E. coli, ang ating influenza. So these 5, ito yung pinaka-common na mga diseases na nakukuha ng isang multiple myeloma patient. Hindi si strep pyogenes but si strep pneumoniae. Kasi si strep pneumoniae, this is a common bacteria na sa ating body, as well as si Aureus, si Klebsiella, and si E. coli. Okay, so mga normal flora, and kahit normal flora sila, they may cause infection pag immunocompromised ng ating patient. Okay. Wait lang. Okay, so Balik tayo dito sa ating hematological. Sa hematological, increase din yung production ng ating
May internet. Papa ako ng internet.
leukocytes and erythroblast.
Answer research.
So, increased yung ating, although meron siyang anemia, meron siyang pallor, increased yung production ng ating young cells, mga blast. So, erythroblast and leucoblasts. Bakit? Kasi
Pwede mag-control.
sa ating bone marrow, nape-press sila palabas kasi nga overproduction na yung plasma cells natin. Wala na silang pwesto sa loob ng bone marrow. So, ang mangyayari dyan, lalabas sila kahit di pa dapat ilabas yung yung mga cells na iyon. Okay, so what is the treatment of our multiple myeloma? So best way to treat a multiple myeloma patient is to have a bone marrow transplant. Para lang din siyang leukemia, need ng bone marrow transplant. So, tatanggalin yung old bone marrow and then papalitan ng bagong bone marrow. Okay, so do you have any questions about multiple myeloma? None so far. Okay, so let's go to the Waldenstrom's primary macrogamma-globulinemia. So, mahaba yung name niya, so let's just shorten it to WM na lang. Okay, si multiple myeloma is MM, Waldenstrom is WM. So, they are also called the lymphoplasmacytic lymphoma. However, hindi siya lymphoma. Okay? Kasi si lymphoma affects the lymph nodes.
Sa Google, na ma-retrieve mo, type. Hindi mo isend ang kanya mo.
The Waldenstrom's macrogamma-globulinemia affects the plasma cells as well. Okay. Ano bang cells ang meron sa lymphoma? T cells. T cells, di ba, ang affected? Kasi nga, lymph node. Ano bang meron sa lymph node? T cells.
Ang babae, mana?
Or T cells na nakikita na natin siya sa ating
Ang babae,
anong organ mostly nakikita yung ating T cells?
Ayun.
Prelims natin.
Nagali lang ko.
Ay na lang ako.
Kapag yung food na, yun na. Nagbago ko kasi yun.
Yung hoodie na, itong baga ba?
Okay. Good. At least na-remember niyo pa. So, ayun. So, si WM natin, 20% ng cases ay linked sa ating genetic na predisposition. So, others ay linked sa ating post-infection to the hepatitis B virus, other immune viruses, and the rickettsial infections. So, lumalabas lang si WM if na-infect tayo with this type of diseases. So, slow progressive disease siya, unlike sa ating MM, na within 1 to 3 years, pwede na mamatay yung patient. Okay, so reaction to cold temperature usually occurs. And bone marrow biopsy is a definitive test na for ating WM. Okay, so, di ba si MM natin is IgG, yung pinaka-common na antibody na napoproduce. Ito si WM natin is si IgM. Okay, kaya siya tinawag na macro kasi si IgM is siya yung pinakamalaking antibody sa ating katawan. Okay, bakit? Kasi pentameric siya, di ba? Pentamer, limang basic na antibodies siya. So, malaki siya. So, since malaki si IgM, ang mangyayari dyan, magkakos siya ng tinatawag natin na hyperviscosity. So, what is a hyperviscosity? This is a condition ng patient na masyadong malapot yung kanyang blood. Okay? So, pag masyadong malapot siya, tendency nun, maaari niya sirain yung other organs natin. One example of a disease that may cause hyperviscosity is diabetes mellitus type 2. Okay? Increased sugar in the blood may increase the viscosity of the blood. Okay. So, anong meron sa ating hyperviscosity syndrome? Hyperviscosity may cause visual impairment, other is the sluggish blood flow. Ayan. So, pag merong hyperviscosity ang patient, may impair yung kanyang vision.
Isang blood flow.
Okay, so bakit ganon? Kasi nga, di ba, very limited yung flow ng blood sa ating eyes. Tendency na masisira siya. The same sa ating diabetes mellitus. Okay, so sa sluggish blood flow naman, ang mangyayari dyan is makakaroon ng headache, ng dizziness, okay. Magkakaroon ng headache, dizziness, tinnitus, deafness, yung ating some parts of organs kasi nga meron tayong sluggish blood flow or mabagal yung blood flow ng ating dugo. Okay. So, ang mangyayari dyan, makaka-apekto siya sa normal function ng ating mga organs. Okay. So, especially sa ating brain, kasi si brain natin uses as much as most of the energy sa ating body. So, pag decreased yung blood flow sa ating brain, mangyayari dyan, sasakit yung ulo natin. May hilo tayo, need natin ng rest, ganun. Okay. So, si IgM, wait lang. Mr. Season, question. Anong chapter daw? This is chapter 27, I think.
Humanami.
The book.
Kailangan
Nephroreferrative disorder.
yung magpa-photocopy ng ID.
Yeah, chapter 27.
Yung voter certification, kunin mo.
Okay, so,
Tapos,
ayun. So, si
yung
IgM
national
natin
ID
is
na yung ganyan.
cold reactant siya.
Yung murag murag
So,
papel
mangyayari
yung
dyan,
national ID.
if na-expose yung patient natin with WM sa malamig na lugar, ang mangyayari dyan, makakaroon siya ng tinatawag natin na Raynaud's phenomenon.
Sa land bank.
Have you heard about this? Wala. So, si Raynaud's phenomenon is a type of condition where a patient
Magkuha.
with Waldenstrom's macrogalobulinemia experiences
kay nagkuha ko
bluing discoloration of the fingertips pag nagkaroon ng exposure to the cold temperature, as well as meron ding cold urticaria or nangangati pag na-expose sa cold temperature. Urticaria is just a fancy term for itchiness ng skin due to exposure to some agents. And kahit cold temperature may cause urticaria to the people with WM. Okay. So, why does this happen? Kasi, because si IgM, it precipitates when exposed to cold temperature because they are
Di may
cold
ano.
reacting antibodies. Okay. During cross-matching, we test for antibodies that are cold reactants, and that includes the IgM. Okay, so in cases na, let's say for example, nag-cross-match tayo ng donor, kung possible ba siya i-donate sa patient, so what if yung patient natin is meron siyang macrogama-globulinemia? Ang mangyayari dyan, yung IgM niya is magre-react doon sa blood ng ating donor, although wala naman talaga dapat pag-reactan. Kasi nga, meron tayong cold reaction. Okay, so ang mangyayari doon, magkakaroon ng false incompatible result. Okay, so nasa doktor na yan kung gusto niya pa din ipatuloy ang transfusion, blood transfusion. So I guess alam naman na ng doktor yan merong WM yung patient. Kasi sa blood pa lang, no, results pa lang ng CBC, alam na agad yan na merong abnormality sa bone marrow. Okay, so how do you treat the patient with WM? So, natitreat din naman si WM gamit ang ating no need na for bone marrow transplant. A simple plasmapheresis can do the thing na. Okay? So, what is plasmapheresis? Plasmapheresis is just like a platelet pheresis, kaso lang, si plasmapheresis is plasma yung kinukuha. So, pag kinuha natin yung plasma ng patient, siyempre kasama doon yung ating mga macroglobulins, mga IgMs natin na overproduced by an abnormal plasma cell. So ayun, so pag kinuha natin yung plasma ng patient, plasmapheresis, of course need natin ng plasma exchange. Okay, so artificially made na plasma, isotonic solution dapat siya, no? Para ilagay sa patient para hindi siya magkaroon ng hypovolemic shock ng patient. Ang hypovolemic shock is low volume of blood. Okay. Pwede din gumamit ng IVIG, intravenous immunoglobulin. This immunoglobulin is anti-IgM siya. So pag na-capture niya itong mga IgM, ilalabas din naman siya eventually through the urine. So kanina sa MM, ineffective si chemotherapy. Dito sa WM, pwede si chemotherapy. Okay? So it will help the patient. It will show a significant benefit to the patient with WM. Okay. Next, we have other monoclonal gammopathies. The MGUS, monoclonal gammopathy of undetermined significance. So, name pa lang no, suggest na hindi nila alam kung this is a diagnosis or not. Kasi some of the researchers or some of the doctors says that the MGUS is just a precursor to either WM or MM. Okay, so this is not really a diagnosis but a precursor to a disease. And it can be WM or the MM. Okay, so do you have any questions, clarifications? Okay, sorry, napindot ko yung exit.
Diba,
Okay, anyway,
mag-sign
please
in
watch
mo
this
tong
video
form. Tapos,
in YouTube, and this is
magpa-photocopy
very
kag ID ni mo back to
very
back.
helpful siya.
Tapos magpa-photocopy
This is a
ka atong
multiple
national
myeloma
ID
na
good na tong
video.
papel. Ito pa-photocopy to nimo. Tapos,
Tomorrow,
yung nimo tong
you will be having a
voter
quiz,
certification good.
and the quiz will be about this video.
Naaba ka ato ha. Wala din kay ato sa voter certification.
Okay.
Tingnan ang
So,
sinabi.
tomorrow then, yung laboratory class niyo tomorrow will be a laboratory practical exam. Kasi tomorrow will be our last day of meeting. And next year I will not be teaching next year. So I think tomorrow will be the last day. I'm sorry, wala akong video pala. Yeah, so tomorrow will be your practical exam kasi after next week. Next week is your exam na, di ba? Finals examination. 13, 14, 15. 13. Wait. Yeah, 13, 14, 15 is your final exam, and then 16, wala na, sem break niya na. No, hindi siya one by one yung practical exam. I will just announce it tomorrow kung ano yung gagawin natin. Basta you don't have to be pressured about the preparations because the practical exam will be just as easy as 1, 2, 3. Okay, so pambawi lang ng mga scores ninyo sa midterms. Okay. Anyway, today we will continue our discussion tomorrow about the lecture. Ay, sandali lang. About autoimmune disorders tomorrow. Okay, so that includes the SLE and the rheumatoid arthritis. So you can study if you want, no, early on. But first, I will ask muna, saan dito yung normal electrophoretic pattern? Normal ha, normal. Okay, so how about si MM? Saan si MM? Okay, sure na ba yan? So si WM is letter C. Ano nang sagot? Okay, so one tip no for the board exam, kailangan yung panindigan yung mga first thoughts ninyo, yung mga first gut feelings ninyo. Kasi usually yun yung tama. Kasi pag pinalitan nyo yung sagot ninyo, minsan mali na, 'di ba? So si multiple myeloma is letter B. Okay, so if a teacher asks you again, ibig sabihin tama 'yun yung sagot ninyo. Gusto lang nila kayong malian. Okay? So multiple myeloma is letter B.
Ay, mong passport, Noy.
Si Waldenstrom's letter C. So, 'di ba sabi natin pag ganito na symbol, multiple myeloma. So if tinanong kayo sa board exam, what if
Kailangan po.
ganito yung pattern? M spike.
Kung sa itong kailangan.
What
Yung
will be the
ID,
answer?
itong national
So
ID
you have to
na
answer
itong
MM.
Wala naman kirami.
Tapos ipa-photocopy lang.
Okay, not Waldenstrom's macrogamaglobulin kasi si MM is more common siya sa ating Waldenstrom's. And then this pattern no, is very kasi to specific. Pero in actuality, sa electrophoretic pattern talaga na makikita nyo, is parang same lang dito sa letter C. Okay? Pero since dito sa by book tayo, kung magbe-base tayo sa specificity talaga ng ating electrophoretic pattern, the IgG moves slightly slower than the IgM. Okay? So this is for the MM, is for the WM. So si IgM moves the farthest. So ito siya. Nasa pinakamalayo siya. Nag-peak siya dito sa dulo. Si IgG naman moves slightly slower. So andito siya sa medyo gitna. Okay. So, do you have any questions? Wala na. Okay. Okay. So, today, we will continue. No, isasabay ko na lang kayo for your laboratory na class today kasi madali lang naman siya. And that is our Benz-Jones routine. Okay, so wait lang, upload ko lang muna yung nun ka presumptive na test for our multiple myeloma. Test pa din yung ating bone marrow biopsy. 'Di ba? Kanina sa lecture. Okay. So our objective for today is to discuss the characteristics and the properties of the Benz-Jones routine. Explain the significance of the Benz-Jones protein in the urine, perform Benz-Jones protein detection skillfully, and give out the accurate test results. Okay, so introduction. Benz-Jones protein are single peptide chain of protein, molecular weight of 22 kilodaltons. And dimerization usually occur and then it will double to 44 kilodaltons. So my other name, Stevens-Jones protein, before tinatawag siya na Trosu-Lallemand bodies. So Stevens-Jones protein is a monoclonal, no? It can be kappa or lambda na variant ng ating light chain. Okay, so they are free light chain. They are not attached to the heavy chain of the IgG. Okay, kasi kung naka-attach siya doon sa ating IgG, hindi siya makakalabas ng urine kasi malaki na yung kanyang molecular weight. Okay, so 10% daw of the people with multiple myeloma produces Stevens-Jones protein without the immunoglobulins. Yan. So proteinuria is a common symptom for the people with multiple myeloma. Patients with Stevens-Jones protein are more likely suffering from the renal tubular defects. So katulad ng nasabi ko kanina doon sa ating lecture, Stevens-Jones protein, napoproduce lang siya if merong renal tubular defects. Okay, proteinuria. So I have a question. Let's say for example, meron tayong urine strip. Ay. Ulit. Ayan. So this is our urine strip. Meron tayong, sino ba familiar sa urine strips? Sino nakatry na mag-test? Or mag-undergo ng testing sa urinalysis? I bet, tapos nyo na yung urinalysis sa inyong AUBF, analysis of urine and other body fluids. Tama ba? Okay, so si urine strip natin, meron siyang 4 parameters or 10 parameters na test strips, di ba? Let's start with the 4 parameters. Ayan. So si 4 parameters, meron siyang include na protein, glucose, gravity, and then C, pH. Tama ba? Okay. So itong 4 na ito are included sa ating 4 parameters na urine strip. However, minsan, pag malalaki yung lab, especially sa mga hospital laboratories, they use 10 parameters. I don't know, no, pero sa amin kasi gumagamit kami ng 10 parameters para mas kompleto. Pero nung nag-intern ako dati sa doctors hospital, yung ginagamit nila is 4 parameters lang. I don't know why. Okay, so this is yung mga add-ons natin. Meron tayong blood. Meron tayong leukocyte esterase. Meron tayong nitrites. Merong ketones. bilirubin, meron tayong euro, bili na dyan. Tama ba? Kung mag-base kayo doon sa inyong AUBF, tama ba yung nasulat ko? Kompleto ba lahat? Okay, so let's say for example, proteinuria, present yung protein sa ating urine. So ang question ko, would Benz-Jones protein show positive result to our protein test strip? Or will it change the color of the protein test strip? Okay. Sige. Who can answer and please defend it? Sige. Meron tayong protein test strip for the urine, di ba? And si Benz-Jones protein is a protein. So ang question is, will it make the protein test strip positive or will it change the color of the protein test strip? Sige, ang color change ng ating protein test strip is color blue. From green, magta-turn siya into blue. Okay, answers? Any answers? Okay, use your microphone, guys. Okay, anyone? Okay, wala? Walang gustong sumagot?
Hello po, sir.
Okay, Miss Chongson.
Mag-try lang po ako.
Oh, sige, go.
I believe hindi po, Benz-Jones protein, hindi po siya maka-help maging positive or maka-change ng color sa protein reagent test strip po kasi as I remember po kanina, Benz-Jones proteins are kappa or lambda immunoglobulin free light chains, so it's not attached to the heavy chain portion, which means that hindi po siya makikita sa ating urine po. So yun po. Thank you po.
Okay, so any answers? Some more answers? Okay, wala nang additional doon kay Miss Chongson. Okay, so I guess wala nang gustong sumagot, no? So, tama naman si Miss Chongson. However, yung pag-defend niya sa sagot is wrong. Okay, so the answer to this will be no. Benz-Jones proteins cannot be detected using ating protein test strip for the urine. Okay, kasi si protein test strip natin for the urine is specific lamang siya for the albumin. Okay? So, as far as I can remember, no, yung principle ng ating protein test strip is protein error of indicator. So, protein error of indicator, specific siya for our albumin alone. Okay? So, ang presence of albumin is indicator siya ng kidney damage. Okay. Okay, so punta tayo dito kay mechanism in urine. Ay, balik muna tayo dito. So, specific lang siya for albumin, no, yung ating protein test strip. Itong si blood, protein din ito. Protein, leukocyte esterase protein, bilirubin protein, urobilinogen protein. So, they all test protein. No, kasi most sa ating urine, protein yung constituent dyan. However, si albumin, dapat hindi natin siya nakikita. And I will explain that later. Okay. Dito tayo kay mechanism in urine. Meron tayong dalawang mechanism, in intratubular precipitation and si direct cell injury. Okay. Dito tayo kay intratubular precipitation. Production of the Benz-Jones protein obstructs the renal tubule. So overproduction of the Benz-Jones protein, no, may accumulate doon sa ating kidney. Para siyang stone, kidney stone din. Na pag nag-accumulate siya doon, magkakos siya ng obstruction and then it will eventually damage the kidney. Next, the direct cell injury. Changes in the chemical composition may affect the surrounding cell. So what are those chemical composition? So if your blood is increased or has increased protein composition, the tendency, it will become more acidic. The blood will become more acidic and then the cells in your kidney will be damaged. So not only that, but the viscosity of the blood, no, also increases. Tendency noon, masisira niya yung kidneys. Kasi si kidney is, parang dependent siya on the blood pressure patient. Okay, so how does this work? Meron tayong glomerulus. Ang ganito yung shape niya. Okay. Meron tayong tinatawag na shear of negativity. Who heard about this one? Para lang din siyang zeta potential mga bagay. It talks about the ion or the charges on the surfaces of the cells or the surface of the tubules. Okay. So this is a glomerulus. Glomerulus is a part of our nephrons. So nephrons is a basic unit of our kidney. Diba? Tama ba? Tama or mali? Okay. So si glomerulus natin meron siyang shear of negativity. So dapat na-lecture nyo na ito sa inyong AUBF kasi doon ito siya dapat nililecture. Shear of negativity, meron tayong blood flow dito sa ating glomerulus kasi nga 'di ba si kidney filters the blood, no, from the toxic substances. Yan. Ito si blood, ang flow siya dito sa blood. Kasama sa blood natin si albumin. Si albumin is a negatively charged na protein din siya. So pag pinagsama natin yung dalawang negative, ang mangyayari dyan is magre-repel sila to each other, di ba? So pag nag-repel sila, si albumin babalik lang dito sa bloodstream. Hindi siya makakapass through dito sa ating glomerulus or sa ating filter. So kaya nga dapat wala tayong albumin na nakikita sa ating urine. Never tayo dapat makakita ng ganyan. Although common siya, most abundant protein ito ang albumin sa ating blood. However, dapat hindi siya nakikita sa ating urine. And urine is basically a blood. Okay? Kasi si urine is an ultrafiltrate of the blood. Okay. However, pag na-damage itong si glomerulus natin because of the Bence-Jones protein, kasi nga nag-accumulate siya, nasira niya na yung glomerulus, mawawala itong shear of negativity. Matatanggal. So pag natanggal siya, wala nang magre-repel sa ating albumin. So pag walang magre-repel sa ating albumin, papasok siya dito sa filter, and then lalabas siya papunta sa ating urine. And sasama dyan si Bence-Jones protein. Kasi si Bence-Jones protein is also a negatively charged protein. So, pag wala na ang shear of negativity, ang tendency ng mga proteins na yan is lalabas na siya sa ating urine. And ma-avoid natin siya. And then, we will be able to detect it using some of the tests. Okay, so what is the principle of our Bence-Jones protein test? Heat solubility. Okay? Si heat kasi, it can dissolve or it can precipitate the Bence-Jones protein depende sa temperature. So, it is used to detect the BJP. BJP is soluble in the urine at room temperature. So, soluble siya, hindi siya precipitate. But it will turn turbid as it is heated to 40 degrees Celsius. Turbid siya, and then it will precipitate and appear parang meron siyang parang granules na mag-a-appear at 60 degrees Celsius. However, pag we further heat it to 100 degrees Celsius, ang mangyayari, yung precipitates na yun is madi-dissolve. Magki-clear siya ulit. Okay, so pag binalik natin siya sa mababa na temperature, mag-undergo na naman siya ulit ng ganitong mga appearance. So, minimal detectable concentration is 30 milligrams per DL. So, below that, wala tayong makikitang turbidity or any changes sa ating urine, even if we test it. So, acidity or salinity may affect the production of the precipitate. So, how can we detect multiple myeloma? Example, 30 milligrams per DL, di ba yung minimal detectable concentration? However, merong 29 milligrams per DL yan lang yung patient. What if 29 lang? So, hindi na siya ma-detect, di ba? So magfa-false negative na yung test natin. So that's why gumagamit tayo ng bone marrow biopsy as our definitive choice of test. Kasi si Benz-Jones protein is hindi siya ganun ka-presumptive. The acidity or salinity may affect the production of the precipitate. Specimen collection, you can use random or the 24-hour urine using a clean container. Specimens can be refrigerated to prevent the bacterial growth. For the procedure, place 4 ml of clear urine into a test tube. Bakit kailangan clear? So we have to filter it muna no, para maging clear siya. Kasi we are checking for the turbidity. Baka magfa-false positive yung result natin if hindi clear yung urine. Okay, so add 1 ml of acetate buffer. Place urine buffer solution into a heat truck or boiling water bath at 56 degrees for 15 minutes. Okay, so pag nag-turbid siya, transfer natin siya sa 100 degrees Celsius. So pag dito pa lang hindi na siya nag-turbid, ibig sabihin walang presence ng BJP. Okay. So however, pag nag-turbid siya, we will further heat it to 100 degrees Celsius para mawala yung turbidity. Kasi nga, di ba, at 100 degrees Celsius, madi-dissolve na ang ating BJP. So examine it. Filter the urine immediately after removing from the water bath. Habang 100 degrees pa siya. And then, examine the turbidity as it cools, reaching the room temperature. So, mawawala yung, ayan. If Benz-Jones protein is present daw, the solution will become turbid as it cools. But clear pag na-reach niya na yung room temp niya. So, meron siyang iba-ibang appearance, depende sa temperature. So, if the precipitate is heavy, you are up to dilute the urine 1:2 and repeat the procedure. Okay, so do you have any questions, clarifications about the BJP, Benz-Jones protein? Okay, so if wala na, I will show a video about the Benz-Jones protein. Please listen, please watch it.
It's Medicos Perfect Snares where medicine makes perfect sense. And today we'll talk about Benz-Jones proteins. This is a playlist on my channel called Labs. First of all, Benz-Jones proteins were not called Benz-Jones proteins in the past. They were called Trousseau-Lalemo bodies. Watch my videos on Trousseau sign and Trousseau syndrome. Moreover, for this video to make sense to you, watch my multiple myeloma video on my hematology and oncology playlist. What is multiple myeloma? Multiple myeloma is a cancer of the bone marrow. Okay, cancer of the bone marrow is secreting what? Mainly cells of lymphoid lineage. Please be specific. Are they B lymphocytes or T lymphocytes or natural killer cells? Well, they are descendants of the B lymphocyte. Okay, be specific. They're called plasma cells. And plasma cells, as you know, secrete what? Antibodies. And antibodies are immunoglobulins. So let's review some hematology. When your red blood cells are too low, it's called anemia. Too high, polycythemia vera. When your white blood cells are low, leukopenia. High, leukocytosis. When it's cancer, leukemia or lymphoma. How about if the cancer is the plasma cells? Multiple myeloma. Let's talk about platelets. When they're low, thrombocytopenia. When they're high, thrombocytosis or thrombocythemia. So what's going on in multiple myeloma? First of all, multiple myeloma is a plasma cell disorder. Yeah, plasma cells have a cancer. And it's a monoclonal gammopathy. What does monoclonal mean? One crazy cell started this whole mess. Gammopathy. Pathy means pathology. Gamma because they are gamma globulins. Paraproteinemias. Yeah, because these Bence-Jones proteins are paraproteins. These are not normal proteins, they are parallel to the normal proteins. And emia means blood. You can also call them DIS, which means defective proteins in blood and therefore in the urine. So here you have crazy B lymphocytes secreting crazy cancerous plasma cells, and the plasma cells will secrete tons of antibodies, but usually just one type. And then you will choose one heavy chain and one light chain. Example, a patient might have IgG kappa. So it's monoclonal, just one from here and one from here. Cancers are usually monoclonal, which means one crazy cell. Hey Medicosis, if I have multiple myeloma and I have tons of IgG kappa, for example, isn't this awesome because I will now have strong, robust antibodies which are part of the immune system? Shut up. You should have all of them. Now you have only IgGs, and of course when you have tons of IgG, they will crowd out other immunoglobulins, which is not cool. That's why many patients with multiple myeloma suffer from increased risk of infections, because your immunity is toast. Even if the patient has tons of plasma cells? Yeah, but they suck. That's why it's cancer. So tons of plasma cells, tons of antibodies. Some of these antibodies, especially the light chain, will end up in the urine, and we call them Bence-Jones proteins. Now normally there should be no Bence-Jones proteins in their urine. It's acceptable if it's less than 10. In other words, no big deal, as long as every other lab test is normal. No symptoms, no sign, and the patient, everything is hunky-dory, except for some few Bence-Jones proteins, it's okay. But when they are too high with symptoms, with other lab abnormalities, baby, that's awful. So here is multiple myeloma, a monoclonal B-cell disorder, increase in a single monoclonal immunoglobulin and its corresponding light chains. These light chains will end up in the urine, and we call those Bence-Jones proteins. So what is electrophoresis? I've talked about this in my previous video, but the basic idea is here. Proteins are what? Are negatively charged. When you put them next to the negative electrodes, they will repel. They will just run away. And some will run faster than the others based on their size. And then we get albumins here and globulins here. This is a normal subject, but let's say I have multiple myeloma. I will have tons of gamma globulins because the antibodies are gamma globulins, and it's going to be like this. Now, electrophoresis is not the same as immunoelectrophoresis, is not the same as immunofixation. Electrophoresis will just tell you that this patient has tons of gamma globulins. Okay, which type? Is it IgG or IgM or Ig? I have no idea. Is it kappa light chain or lambda light chain? I have no clue. How can I tell? You need immunoelectrophoresis and immunofixation. They will tell you, for example, look at this. Oh, how beautiful. This is IgG. This is the heavy chain. Lambda is the light chain. So the protein electrophoresis, whether it is serum or urine, is a quantitative test, but not qualitative test. It will tell you this patient has tons of gamma globulin. Which type? I have no idea. I am not qualitative. To know which type, you'll need immunoelectrophoresis with immunofixation. Now look at this. 70-year-old dude with bone pain, back ribs, calcium level is high, creatinine is high. You order serum protein electrophoresis and immunofixation. From the serum protein electrophoresis, you have decided that this is monoclonal gammopathy. This is tons of gamma globulins. And then from the immunohistochemistry and immunofixation, you say that it's IgG kappa subtype. Quantitative, qualitative. So what happens to my kidney in multiple myeloma? Bad stuff happens. Renal failures. This is especially the chronic renal failure. Those Bence-Jones proteins, which are the light chains of the immunoglobulins, will lead to obstruction of your tubules. And if this is not bad enough, they are also directly toxic to your tubules. These Bence-Jones proteins are proteins. They can lead to a proteinaceous tubular casts. These light chains are converted into amyloid light chain, and this is an example of primary amyloid amyloidosis. And of course, you're losing proteins in the urine because you have tons of Bence-Jones proteins in the urine. And this will overwhelm your tubular ability to reabsorb them. Now let's debunk some myths.
It's normal to have some Bence-Jones protein.
Shut up.
Okay, medicosis, if this is not true, then therefore the mere
Presence of Bence-Jones protein is always clinically significant. You do not have to swing full parent to the opposite side.
increased Bence-Jones protein there equals multiple myeloma and nothing else.
Shut up. 100% of patients with multiple myeloma have Bence-Jones proteins in the urine. Nope. We can easily detect Bence-Jones proteins in the blood and in the urine. Nope. Routine urine testing for proteins can detect the type and the amount of Bence-Jones proteins. Also no. Here are the facts. Bence-Jones proteins in the urine is not a normal finding, but it's not always clinically significant either. Example, imagine a 19-year-old lady with some Bence-Jones proteins in her urine, and everything else is perfect. She's healthy, no family history, all other tests are normal, physical exam is fine, history is irrelevant. Then, Bence-Jones proteins mean nothing. But consider this, a 75-year-old guy with bone pain, hypercalcemia, high creatinine, high BUN, normocytic normochromic anemia with low formation, multiple lytic bone lesions on X-ray, and tons of Bence-Jones protein in the urine. That's multiple myeloma, baby. Context is important.
increased Bence-Jones proteins is always multiple myeloma.
No, it could be multiple myeloma, could be chronic lymphocytic leukemia, could be lymphoma, metastases, amyloidosis, even Waldenstrom macroglobulinemia.
100% of patients,
No, not all of them. About 75% of them. Bence-Jones protein we can detect in the blood or in the urine. No, in the blood it disappears very quickly because it ends up in the urine very quickly. If you give blood sample, you probably find nothing. So urine only. A blood test for Bence-Jones proteins is not a valid test.
routine urine testing for proteins will tell me the type
And the amount? No, only the immunoelectrophoresis and immunofixation can tell you the type and the amount. The good old routine urine test will just tell you there are Bence-Jones proteins. Bence-Jones proteins are high in the urine in these cases. Don't forget, metastatic cancer can lead to increased Bence-Jones, especially if it metastasizes to bones. Now, it's not shocking to see tons of Bence-Jones proteins in the urine in cases of multiple myeloma and Waldenstrom macroglobulinemia, since both of them are examples of monoclonal gammopathies. There is no test on the face of the planet that is 100% accurate, and urine Bence-Jones proteins is no exception. You can have false negative results or false positive results. False negative, a dilute urine.
Oh, hey patient, you're fine, there's nothing to worry about.
Shut up. The urine was dilute.
How can I overcome this hurdle?
Ask the patient for a morning sample because it is the most concentrated. How about false positive results? Increased dose of penicillin or aspirin. If you like this video, you will love my autonomic pharmacology course where we
Okay, so I think that's it for our Bence-Jones protein. Do you have any clarification or questions? So, ito yung link ng video. So, dalawang link na yung nasend ko dito ha. Please watch it. Kasi ano siya, very informational siya. Okay, so nabanggit doon sa video na si Bence-Jones protein ay hindi siya normal na nakikita sa ating urine. However, pag meron man presence, hindi siya indicative for serious na malignancy na kaagad. So, do you have any questions, clarification, violent reactions? Wala. So for your exams next week, the coverage will be all of the topics we have discussed now. But just base I will just base the exam sa ating mga PowerPoint na na-present. So just study yung PowerPoint natin para hindi na kayo masyadong mahirapan. Okay, so you don't have to go over the book, but if you like, you may, of course. Kasi I think ano siya 12 chapters siya all in all or more. Okay, so that's it. I think I will see you tomorrow, guys. So if you have no more concerns, you may now leave the conference.